Welcome to today's webinar. Before we jump in, let me introduce myself. I'm Linda Gottlieb, Performance Enhancement Leader for the Entrepreneur Source, a franchisor with a network of hundreds of franchisees. We've been in business 30 years now, and we're extremely passionate about two things: fueling and growing the economy through entrepreneurship and small business, and helping business owners reclaim their original vision and passion for their business and reach their income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity goals. You know, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family from an early age, absorbing the attitudes and traits of those who direct their own destiny. Maybe it's time for you to start comparing where you are today to where you might be. And congratulations for investing the time today to see what that might mean for you. So our webinar is being recorded, and it'll be available for playback, so you can ask questions, provide feedback, and share your thoughts as we go in the chat box available. Our presenter today has asked that you hold all your questions to the end, so we'll do that, and then we'll cover those at the end of the presentation today. So let's get started. Here's a great quote. Take a second to read it. And this quote really stands on its own, doesn't it? Our lives are a series of things we call goals, and they're really like boxes we can check off on our list. Get a college degree or trade experience. Check. Invest in a home. Check. Get a job. Check. Sure, many times we go down that checklist and feel some sort of accomplishment. But what if, seriously, what if you aim for something outrageous? Something that may cause you significantly to up your game. So I need to ask you, what inspires you? What do you daydream about when no one else is watching? When you're really the most authentically honest with yourself? So let me ask, what can 2014 hold for you? This is where I'd like to introduce our great presenter today, Jeff Levy. So Jeff, take it away.
Okay, Linda, thank you very much, and it's really a pleasure to be here talking with you folks. A little background: I've been a coach in the self-employment arena for about 11 years, and I've had the opportunity to sit down and talk with nearly 700 people over those 11 years about what their goals are, what their dreams are. So what I hope to do today is share with you some of the things I've learned and things that might help you in your journey. I have been an entrepreneur since 1984. I've been involved in most different kinds of businesses, franchise included, and other types of startup ventures. One of the other things I'd like to just share personally is that I have found over my 40 years of business that my strongest motivation is when I'm working towards something rather than running away from something. And so the seminar today is going to talk about how you develop that vision for yourself using the AIM concept, how you can pivot towards your goals and your future. Okay, so primary aim. What we'll be talking about today is primary aim revolving around your goals, needs, and expectation roadmap. In the TES system, we call it AIM for Success. And we'll be talking about career and business choices that are aligned with your vision for yourself and your family. So you're going to start to see a theme through my talk with you today, that it's not only the business by itself, it's how does that business inform what you're trying to accomplish with your life. I'm going to ask a challenge to you folks, and have you ever tried to describe who you are versus what you do? You know, we all can say I was a marketing executive, or I was a salesman, or I worked in the IT department, but think a little bit about the challenge of being able to describe to somebody what your primary being is and who you are and what makes you special. It's very common to find yourself in a career or an industry, not by intention, but more likely because when you got out of college or got out of technical training, you got a job and stayed in that business sector for most of your career. And so if you take a moment to think about, is this career getting me to where I want to be in my life? And think about those dreams that you might have had when you were younger, because we're going to be addressing how they get back to those dreams. Okay. So oftentimes people come to these seminars because some circumstances might have created some life-changing events. So a layoff, for example, or some kind of outsourcing of your job. And so when those things happen to people, perhaps now is a time to identify, what are you really trying to accomplish? What would describe success for you? So if we had a time machine and moved the time machine ahead 2 or 3 years, and you could say in that very valuable time, what did I accomplish? That's what we're going to try to help you with today, is looking prospectively, so you don't have to look back. You can actually look forward, and I want to talk about the tools to do that. Let's start by listing your goals, listing your needs, listing your expectations. Obviously, we're not going to do this on this call. It's not a working seminar, but your TES coach will be trained to help you with that process. So, as I mentioned before, it's not an easy task to describe who you are and what you're trying to accomplish over the next couple of years. But everybody is looking for passion in their lives. And my observation after, again, meeting with hundreds of people who are considering self-employment, that the true passion is a byproduct of working hard, working productively, finding something that they love to do, but most importantly, it's in what does that hard work provide. Now, does that hard work provide more quality time with family? Does it provide more economic security? Does it provide more ability to sort of grow based on your own efforts and not so much working for somebody else's dream? Okay, so we're going to be talking in this context of AIM and this sort of who are you, this sort of 2.0. So when you reimagine, when you think about your own vision for the future, you're really creating a Joe or Mary Smith 2.0. And so those are the thoughts we want to share. And one of the things, too, that often stops people from this next step is the fear. And there's been a quote that I just sort of wrap my arms around, and it says, an entrepreneur will live a few years of their life like most people won't, so they can live the remainder of their life like most people can't. So I do want to let you know up front that the process of making that jump into your own business is not going to be easy, but someone who has been in their own business, as I have for the last 30, 35 years, it really is worth it. So let's start getting into a little bit more detail here. When we think about forming the passion for your future, you want to be thinking about around 4 very significant concepts. And the first concept is income. We do live in a capitalistic society. We do have requirements for money. So you need to be thinking about what are your net income requirements to keep to live in line with your expectations, with the kind of home you want to own, the kind of vacations you want to take, the kind of schools you want to put your children in, the kind of car you want to drive. Now think about that. There's nothing wrong with having an understanding of what your cash requirements are. Certainly, we also want to think of the lifestyle. We're not creating any more time in our lives. Time is something that is finite. We don't know how long we have, but we do know that it's not forever. So think about your relationship to work. Think about, do you want to work in your business? Do you want to work on your business? Do you want your business to create time for yourself, time for your family, time for your community, time for health purposes? Then think about the wealth side of things. And now we start to think about things that relate more to self-employment. Income and lifestyle oftentimes can be reached through a job if you have a consistent job for a long period of time. When we think about wealth, we think about how can you keep more of what you earn. Small businesses have significant tax benefits that work in your favor. And also in a small business, you can earn in relationship to your efforts. You're not limited by the borders that are put on in a corporate environment. And the last thing that we think about when we talk about self-employment is equity goals. Do you have a vision at some point to sell a business? to leverage your time, create additional value. When you work for a company, you are paid, and when that paycheck clears the bank, you're even. You haven't created any additional equity or value. If you were in your own business, you obviously are doing it to create more value over time that perhaps you could either sell or have someone run the business for you, or have a family person run the business. So as you think about your goals, think about your income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity. And that, I must admit, is a beautiful slide. Well done, whoever prepared it. Okay, so when we talk about primary aim, AIM is actually a software program that the TES coaches use to help the clients develop their income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity goals. We feel very, very strongly about it as an organization. We actually underwrite the cost of it for the clients that we work with. And the program consists of 8 reading chapters, 4 recorded webinars, and worksheets that really help you develop what your personal vision is for the future. And your coaches are people that will provide helpful suggestions on how to begin this personal journey. And again, I could talk from experience because I have been a coach on the front line, working with my clients on a regular basis, and we're really trained to help the client understand the difference between what is a good business and what is a business that helps you achieve the goals that you're trying to do. So think again, what are your dreams? Starting your own business is always a very, very exciting thing for people. I love a quote from Rudyard Kipling that says, "There is never a price that is too high for the privilege of owning yourself." And even though he made that quote, I think, in the late 1800s, I think it relates very well today to how we look at our relationship to work. Do we work for somebody else's dream, or do we work for our own? I want to talk, too, about this family conversation. As we coach and work with people, it really, even though one family member, one spouse may be the key person in the business, this really is a family conversation. Think about the impact that a business can have on your family from a number of perspectives. Teaching our children the concept of self-employment, and with some risk comes reward. But we also know that the job market has really not been very kind today to people that are in their 30s or folks over 50. And so we need to provide education. And one of the things that TES coaches do as well is we provide coaching education to the family members to understand that the concept of a job from 21 years old to 65 years old and in retirement just is not existing today in the new career economy. And I hope everybody's out there and hears me. I can't see your smiling faces out there. So let's talk about setting strategic objectives. Once you have these ILWE goals, income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity, then you can begin to get serious about career choices. How will those goals be met? Will you meet them through a job? And candidly, for some people, that is the appropriate thing. Or will they be doing it through self-employment? And the TES coaches help with that. We tend to take a very objective view and help the client to get to what is the best decision for themselves. Okay. I need to be patient 1 second. Okay. So one of the key elements of AIM is to help you understand and recognize what might be the best fit for you when it comes along. So oftentimes people spend time on the internet, they're looking for businesses, they're waiting for the business to jump out and say, hey, we're perfect for each other. But it really doesn't work that way. What really works is that if you know what you're looking for, if you've got that income vision, that lifestyle vision, the ability to think about what the wealth component is, and are these businesses saleable? When you start to think about what it is that you're looking for, then it's a lot easier to help make that fit. And And again, our organizations are very good at that parallel path of helping the person clarify their vision while at the same time become very well educated on what a day in the life looks like for business owners in the franchise arena. Okay, well, there are several check boxes that need to be made, if you guys want to increase your chances of a successful business choice. And these are some things that are important. They're included in the kind of work we do, but we really try to look at the communication style of the person who is considering self-employment. We look at the nature of the business that they will be evaluating, including a profile of what successful current operators look like. We have very good discussions about the background and transferable skills of you, a potential candidate as a franchisee. And of course, this key topic around our discussion today is have you developed a passion of what you want your life to look like, and are you willing to put in the effort to work to achieve those goals? Okay, so just think for a moment. Maybe do this after the call. Is what you've been doing in your career up to this point helping you achieve the goals that are important to you? Have you envisioned the primary purpose of your life, and what are you trying to accomplish in doing that? The idea of retiring at 65 and then having a life just doesn't work anymore. I think today we have an opportunity to have it, as we grow older. Okay, so we have a step-by-step process that has been developed and refined over the last 30 years, and I hope some of you have come to this call because you have been invited via TES Coach, and if you have, you're in good hands. I want to give you some other insights as well about who our clients are, and maybe you might identify with some of them as well. Okay. Our clients have changed over the years, and I want to give you some concept of who are people that are considering franchises today. We call them a new breed of candidate. They're much better educated. They like to do a lot of research on their own, and they really aren't aligned with the theory that you have a safe job until you're 65 and then retire on Social Security. They really look at their life as having an opportunity to have more control over it. The concept of assuming that a job will protect you really died back in 2008. So one of the new breed of candidates we're seeing is a lot of husbands and wives who bring different talents to the table, whose children might be grown and off on their own, starting to think about maybe doing something together. Excuse me. And as TES coaches, we can actually help you look at businesses that might be in line with those kind of goals. Okay, now for some reason my slide isn't advancing. Let me do it this way. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, another candidate, this has been our typical bread and butter candidate for many years. It's that executive who's over 50, lost their job due to downsizing or some other event that has sort of derailed their career. And so that's been a very popular candidate for franchises. But candidly, they have been joined today by the 20 to 40-year-old group who understands that there really is a risk in throwing their career in with a company and expecting that that's going to help reach their goals. So the age ranges of our clients have changed dramatically over the last couple of years, and specifically since 2008. There's another phenomenon that's happening today, and that is that a lot of I'm 65 years old, so I've got children in their 30s, and I think their job market is a lot more challenging today than it was years ago. And so we've had discussions about, what if we did things that would be able to meld, my experience as someone who's been, in business for many years with the energy of my family and younger younger members. So one of the things we're seeing today is a significant growth in families that are trying to invest for their future together, and we can help from a coaching perspective to think through what are the issues that are related to that. Okay. So I'd like to leave you with one important message, and I think I probably should have been talking slower, but hopefully this will leave good time for questions. But if I can leave you with one message, it would be to really keep an open mind. And, until you take out your checkbook and write a check and sign a franchise agreement, all you've done is allowed yourself to broaden your vision, broaden your horizon. So keep an open mind. If a TDS coach brought you to this call, follow the process and have the goal be a determination of what your options might be. And options are based on good, educated, and informative journey that combines the vision of your own goals with what success would look like in a particular business. Time is the most precious thing that we have today. As I said earlier, there's no more of it is being manufactured. So if you are in a transition or you're thinking about where you are in your life and that you may not be achieving the things that are really important, this is really a gift of learning that we try to provide to people so that they do have additional options for themselves. And so I think my last slide is that you do reconnect with your TES coach, discuss the options we talked about today, discuss the concepts we talked about today, talk about how you develop your own vision for where you're going, talk about how you communicate within your family so that everybody's on the same page and trying to identify, what are those indicators that would be success over the next 2 to 3 years and longer. And then I'm going to just wish everybody a very healthy and happy holiday season. And Linda, I'll turn this back over to you to help us with any questions that might come up.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. We do have a couple of questions that popped up. Let me see here. Okay, one is about the actual program timeline itself. How long would one put aside for working through this AIM activity with their coach?
Sure. Well, the actual program, if you were to sit down on a Saturday, you can actually go through the program in 6 to 8 hours. But candidly, that's not what I would recommend. There are 8 reading chapters, and again, you do this while you're working through the process with your TES coach. You don't wait to finish AIM to then start learning about businesses. You do this in a parallel path. I normally recommend to my clients that you want to get through the reading and the webinars within about 2 weeks. Again, pace it that works for you. The webinars are all recorded. And then you want to print out the worksheets. And the worksheets are something that will likely everybody will be different. But usually within, you start working on them within a month or two, you start to really clarify that vision. Some people can get it done in a week. Some people might take a little longer. Sometimes you need to get the input and reflection back of the businesses that you are looking at to start clarifying your own goals. So it's a very personal thing, but the work in total is not more than 6 to 8 hours. If you want to do quality work on your own worksheets, it depends on the individual.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. We do have another question. Vanessa is asking about the cost of the program and or the coach, and follow-on to that is, does it include anything on financing your business? Should she be in that position to look at that?
Sure. Well, let me deal with it first. The financing is really a separate issue. That your coach will be very well schooled and educated about discussing different financing options with you. In my practice, I typically wait. We always, in the beginning, look at something called a Tell Us More About You, which includes a sort of a high-level net worth statement so that we can at least get some sense of where that person is from their financial capabilities. But AIM is really not about helping you finance a business. It's about what are the goals you're trying to accomplish through that business, which includes your income goals and whether you want to build and keep or build and sell a business. But we can help you with the other side of it. As far as the cost of the program, these programs have normally sold in the market for in a $300 to $400 range. Very often, your coach will actually absorb that cost if they feel that you are going to put some effort in and try.
Great, thanks. And Edward has a question. Interesting. He says, what if I'm really not sure that business ownership is for me? Is this only for folks that already or have a clear picture of where they're going?
And I think you asked really the right question. I believe that most people don't have enough knowledge to make that choice whether business ownership is right for them or not. And our coaching approach is to begin the journey so that you have enough information to make that choice. So candidly, and don't worry about our time. We take the approach that we'll help people get as far as they are able to, and then if it ends up that in your mind it really isn't the right thing for you, and you develop the goals and you talk through what the financial implications will be, and you've assessed what some of the risks are, and it's not right for you, then you've come to a good decision for yourself, and you can focus your attention someplace else. And we're quite happy to help you through to that point.
Great, thanks. Another question is coming from Bonnie. She said that her husband is really not talking with her about considering self-employment. So do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, Bonnie, that's, first of all, it's very, very common. We tend to marry the opposite in our life because people then complement each other, and so there's usually someone who's a little bit more conservative and a little bit more risk taker, and so I think that's where AIM comes in. And so my suggestion would be a couple of things, Bonnie, is to say, first of all, you are only exploring this area. You're not committing. You would never commit on behalf of the family unless there was an agreement. And then what I would suggest you do is try to see if your husband would participate in some of the calls with the Entrepreneur Source Coach. Certainly, if the AIM program, again, is not pushing you one way or the other. And I have found in my practice it's a tremendous tool when a husband and wife thinks about what their future is about, and they sort of get, there's a fear that comes up when we say, oh my goodness, we could lose everything, and all these fears become a little bigger than they actually should be. The AIM will help the two of you get on, hopefully, a vision of what you're both trying to accomplish. And again, under the security of knowing that you're not signing anything until you both agree that it's the right thing for you, hopefully that will allow you to move forward and go ahead.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. One is, how exactly does this AIM program work regarding the education access? Sure.
Well, from a mechanical point of view, what happens is your coach will actually send you an invite, and you'll see it as an email, and it'll allow you to click on the link, and effectively, once you do that and you register, it will send you a password and username, which typically is your email for both, unless you decide to change it. And then you begin working on the program. And some of my clients will discuss with me exactly where they are, what their thoughts are. And some will wait till things crystallize a little bit more. But it's really something for you, and it'll create more topics to discuss with your coach. But it's very easy to access. The dashboard, when you see it, is very self-explanatory. And I think I can't remember anybody saying they had any difficulty with the mechanical access of reaching it, of getting into it, or using the program.
Thanks, Jeff. I have one question remaining, and this is from Alice. She notes that you used the term about a new economy, and she was just looking for a little clarification on that.
Sure. This is actually a term that we in the Entrepreneur Source had trademarked a number of years ago, and it's because we identified that there is a mindset in our society that work is good and work will give you security and work will give you a future. And what happened is 2008 approximately, everybody thought the world was collapsing. And so there's basically a dramatic change, and we identified that what we wanted to call that change was the new career economy. It was a sense that if you are bright and if you are hardworking and if you are talented, that is not necessarily, even though those are wonderful qualities, those are not necessarily going to guarantee you a future by working for a company. So the new career economy describes the fact that more people are going to be exploring self-employment. More people will look at sort of portfolio ways of looking at their life, maybe doing consulting, maybe having a business, maybe doing more contract work. I live in Microsoft land up here, and you'd be amazed at how many people have left that company in the thousands that now work as 1099 contractors back doing the same thing that they did, and candidly it's opened their life up to do other things. So it's a term that we've come up with to try to describe the concept of how many people today are looking at their career, and the economics have basically changed from what they were when I was in college and starting my career.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Right now, I have no other open questions. I will give everybody an opportunity to type one in. If something is burning, you have an opportunity to tap into a mind share of 30 years of experience in an entrepreneurial world. And I know that Jerry out here has indicated that he does not have a coach yet. So if there's anybody on this call that does not currently have a coach, we will be able to contact you, and thank you very much for giving us your location, Jerry. If anyone else is on this seminar today without working with, and they're not working currently with an Entrepreneur Source coach, please just tap in a little chat to be sure that we know where you are located and we have your information, and we will be able to hook you up with somebody that can shepherd you through this fabulous process to help you discover whether or not self-employment might be an option for you. So I'd just like to thank Jeff again for taking time out of his very busy schedule to be here with us. And I want to thank you all for thinking about the new year perhaps in a different way and for taking time out today to join us. So thanks again very much, and thank you, Jeff, and happy holidays to everyone.
My pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Take care.